older I get, the more I realize that everyone is just like in massive debt.
I borrowed $120,000 to become a nurse.
I'm about $180,000 in debt from both federal and private student loans, my car loan, credit cards.
The older I get, the more I realize that everyone is just like in massive debt and they don't seem to care about it. Over Christmas break, my car actually broke down and I was told I need a brand new engine for like $18,000. I was like, obviously not. I'm going to sell the car, get a new one. So I've been heavily on like car TikTok and like looking at different cars and people sharing their brand new cars that they got, Toyotas, Hondas, etc. And in the comments, people will be like, oh, like how much is your monthly payment? And people are casually being like, oh, I have like $1,000 monthly payment for a Toyota. Don't get me wrong, Toyotas nowadays, super expensive. But like I grew up with a dad who was like, if you have more than a $300 to $500 car payment a month, like you can't afford that car. Like if you can't afford to put enough down to where you can have a lower car payment, like you can't afford the car. And it's not people that are then like buying used cars. It's like they're buying a brand new 2026 Grand Toyota Highlander and they're having like $1,000, even an $800 car payment is insane. Or like a $1,200 car payment. And people are like in the comment sections on all of these car videos like, oh, that's not that bad. Oh, that's not that bad. Like, are we okay?
No, they're not okay. Okay, so my rule of thumb, I would say if it's more than like what 10% of your take-home pay for your car payment, we're kind of pushing it. Now, for some of these people, $1,000 is probably pretty affordable for some people. Some people just make a lot of money. That's just how life is. Some people really do think, oh, $500, that's super cheap per month. I don't know why you're making this video. Again, if it is more than you can comfortably pay, do not get that car payment. That's how you get into crippling debt because stuff starts to pile on. You heard her. Her car, what did it say? Like 18,000 for her, what was it? Yeah, she said she needs a brand new engine for $18,000. If you can spare $18,000 for a $18,000 car, you do you, but car payment, car maintenance, car expenses, repairs, that's going to set you back.
I paid off $17,000 worth of student loan debt in 6 months, and let's talk about it because there's many people on this app that are going to tell you adding $5 to your student loan payment is going to do the thing. It is. It's not going to. So let's not sugarcoat it and talk about how I did. First of all, for reference, I took out $17,000 worth of student loans when I was, I think, 19 years old. I was in my last year of college. I was going to a private school, and I had used all the money that I had saved on the prior 3 years. And so I took out the $17,000 the last year when they tried to kick me out because I couldn't pay for it.
Okay, not to cut her off here, but paying only $17,000 or getting $17,000 in loans at a private school. When I was looking at private schools back when I graduated in 2016, yes, okay, I'm old, all right. But it was super expensive. It's like 50 grand a year. I'm sure it's only more expensive now. So if you were able to pay for the first 3 years of your bachelor's degree, good for you. Like, that's awesome.
And I didn't have anybody to co-sign a loan for me with good enough credit for me to get any other loan. So I took out a $17,000 loan with fluctuating interest rate, and it was a terrible life decision. But again, my frontal lobe was not developed. So for the last 7 years, I've been paying $200 monthly to try to cover the interest and some since I took out the loan. And once in a while, I would pay extra money. If I had extra money, I would do like $400 or $500, whatever it is. So in August of this year, I opened up the loan expecting it to be like, I don't know, like $10,000 or something. Like my idiot self just thought that it would have went down. And I have a video that I'll insert when I realized that I roughly paid about $10,000 on the loan already. And the loan had only gone down a very, very small amount. Hold on, let me insert the clip.
When you check on a loan you took before your frontal lobe was developed and have been paying it off for years, just to realize you've paid $10,306 toward it and the loan has gone down only $1,800. $1,800 is all that went down on her principal because she has been paying the interest, right? They front load the interest. Genuinely, I know I use the word diabolical a lot. I don't know, it's like kind of just in my vocabulary front and center now, but I truly mean that demons have infiltrated these freaking schools and the government essentially that say it's okay for children, truly children, 17-year-olds. I'm going to be honest, as someone who's 28, I believe 18-year-olds are children too. They literally are 0 years old in adult years, okay? They don't know any better. And maybe your parents, some people did not have financially literate parents. She said she had no one to co-sign for her. I don't know if that necessarily means that her parents or her guardians were not financially literate, but it still meant that no one really helped her with this. It's really disturbing that, and mind you, you can't discharge this in bankruptcy. That's going to follow you for the rest of your life unless you like flee the country. Which, don't do that, but all right, because I mean, they will garnish your wages. The US will track you down. Okay, you always have to pay your taxes to the US, at least file, no matter where you are. This poor woman, let's see what more she has to say.
So after I crashed out for about a week and went to a bunch of different banks and like had them look at the loan, every single one of them agreed like this was the worst loan you could have taken out. This company is terrible. At one point, the loan interest rate was like 10.7%. Like, it was actually fucking bizarre. So this was the moment that I decided to lock in. And I'm like looking at...
Going back to her interest rate, I believe she did say that it was a variable interest rate. Please do not do that. Try to lock in a fixed interest rate so you know exactly what you're going to pay for the lifetime of the loan. And if you can, I got really lucky. I don't know what happened, but all of my loans are 5% or under. I'm extremely lucky on how low the interest rate is on these loans that I'm going to pay off in, I guess, 7 years, if that's what happens. But guys, please, if anything is in the double digits, 10+%, do not pursue that loan. I don't care how desperate you are. You are going to be in a tough spot, but let's see how she got out of it.
TikTok videos and like watching these girls be like, oh, you know, every time I was going to make a purchase, I put $5 in my student loan. Like, okay, cool. I guess that's fine. But that was not going to work for me because I just realized that these people basically scammed me out of over $10,000. So no, what I did was I fucking locked in. And I think that's what you all need to do. I did not spend a single dollar on anything that was not a necessity for 6 months. Nothing. I also worked so much, like I can't even describe it. One time I went on a 14-day stretch. By the end of it, I was the most delusional girl you'll ever meet. Like, I was off my fucking rocker. I had 1 day off, and then I remember I worked 11 days after that. I went 14 days, off 1 day, worked 11. I know that that's like not normal, and also it's not feasible.
And it said she has one job as an ER nurse, another as a bartender. Whew, she was not sleeping, mind you. Not at all.
For everybody, I totally understand that. But if you want these student loans and this fucking debt to stop following you around and stop just giving people, like, I think that's what people are forgetting. If you're just paying a little bit on it, you're just giving them your money. And that's what pissed me off is I work so hard for the money that I have. Why the fuck am I just going to give it away? I'm not. So this is my sign to you. Lock the fuck in. Stop scrolling on TikTok and deciding that you need this shit that everybody like has, whatever. And then treat yourself at the end. Like, I finished paying off my student loans. It was a big thing. Let me tell you, there's not like a congratulations at the end. The clock just hit 0 and then that's it. Like, they don't say congrats. They don't say thank you for paying off your loan. Like, there's nothing cool about it. So then I booked myself a trip and I went to the beach and I gave myself a couple-day little vacation and made myself feel worthy that I just put all that fucking work in, okay?
And good for her. If anyone deserves a treat after working 2 jobs, one of them being an ER nurse. I don't know if there are any nurses out there. Applause. Claps for you because damn, I would never be able to do a job like that. I'm just not equipped emotionally, physically, mentally to do anything like that. So bravo to you guys. Also, as a bartender, I'm not emotionally, mentally, physically equipped to do that either. So good for you guys for doing that and good on her for doing 2 jobs. Listen to her advice here. Don't just go like $5 above the minimum. Obviously, it will help to at least pay down the debt. As you may have seen in some of my other videos on student loans, sometimes the loans don't even go down at all. I would say she was pretty lucky that it even went down by $1,800. Sometimes the loans grow and it's really disturbing.
I borrowed $120,000 to become a nurse and I paid it off in about 2 years after finding my first nursing job. And that's using the debt avalanche method. And if you aren't familiar with the debt avalanche method, it's, I think it's Dave Ramsey's method where you take the highest interest and you pay off that first. So for me, I ended up refinancing my Sallie Mae into Navy Federal. So that went down in a lot of interest. But I still had, I think it was College Ave and SoFi that were like around 8%. So I paid those off first. And then I paid off my Navy Federal. And then my federal student loans, I started tackling those. And fortunately for me, student loans went...
I just want to pause it real quick. When that man went past, I thought she was in a car at first, not in her house. Yikes.
0 interest during COVID. But I still paid my loans during COVID, and during the whole duration it was 0 interest because in my head that was free money. So first I did the debt avalanche. I tackled my highest student loans first, and then I continued to pay the zero interest loans, and I paid them off in about 2 years. And I had some travel money helping me with that, as well as my per diem and then my freelance stuff. So for those of you thinking that you can't pay off this huge amount of student loans, if you're dedicated and you have a strategic plan with it, it becomes like super easy. And honestly, I'm so relieved that I've been a nurse for, I thought it was 8 years, but it turns out I've been a nurse for 2019, not quite 7 years. So I've been a nurse for 6.5 years, and I have zero student loans after borrowing $120,000 to pay off to go to nursing school. So zero.
My thing is, does going to nursing school cost that much? $120,000 is kind of crazy. Also, she's making insane money as a nurse to pay that off in less than 2 years. Now, it sounds like she had a freelancing thing on the side, which again, second nurse with 2 jobs, mind you, a side job and her main job. Nurses are freaking crazy, y'all. Those are the kinds of people that we need in the healthcare profession. I got accepted into a $110,000 ABSN program. I was all for it because I know I can pay it off fast. However, I wasn't able to get any loans approved at all, like zero. I applied to several, Sallie Mae, SoFi, everywhere. I don't know how people are even able to get approved for this amount of loans. I had an 800 credit score and zero debt to income. Okay, well that makes a lot of sense, right? But zero loans approved? Also, I feel like becoming a nurse would make it like your loan officer is going to look at what you're pursuing and then what the projected salary is for nurses, which I think it should be a lot considering she was, at least this woman, was able to pay off $120K in less than 2 years. Phenomenal. But maybe you just need to find a cheaper nursing program. Is that possible? I don't know. Nurses, in the comments, please let me know your thoughts.
I'm about $180,000 in debt from both federal and private student loans, my car loan, credit cards. That is all of my debt.
That's just all of her debt at 24 years. Living at home, at least she's living at home. I could not imagine. Imagine having your own mortgage and children on top of this.
I am 24 years old. I have a bachelor degree, so not even a master's. I have 1 minor, no focus in my major, as well as an honors degree, which did require some extra credits. So that is where this number is coming from. This is on top of the little amount of scholarships that I was awarded, so money I didn't have to pay back. This is everything I owe. Everything I owe. I came out of college in June of 2024, and I did not look at the debt that I was accruing. I took out loans as I needed them each year for college, and I didn't really think about what the percentages meant because I was never taught financial literacy. I didn't think about what the realistic number was going to be that I would have to owe each month on these loans, and they are astronomical, I will say. Sallie Mae, which is my private loan creditor, wants $1,800 a month from me. That's just Sallie Mae. I am right now in a...
Okay, so she said $1,800 a month just for her, I think just Sallie Mae. I don't know if Sallie Mae issued only her student loans, but again, remember she has credit card debt and a car note. Keep that in mind.
Grace period for 12 months where I only have to pay $1,033 to Sallie Mae. I would not be able to afford the $1,800 a month if I wasn't able to get it down for 12 months. I don't know what I'm going to do in 11 months, but this is just me talking about it. On top of that, I owe about $287 to the federal government per month. That's not changing. And I owe $202 for my car payment, and that's not even including the $150 or $60 that I owe each month for the car insurance or my credit card payments. That doesn't include any of that. So, alone, Sallie Mae wants $1,800 from me. I graduated college, as I just mentioned, in June of 2024, so this last year.
I am in shock that, I'm stuttering here because how do you issue? I thought she was going to say like, oh, I'm a homeowner. $188,000 is my fuck, it's my home loan. No, it's not. And I'm not laughing at her because this is the reality for a lot of Americans. I'm sure it's the reality for you at home. Hopefully not to that massive extent. And hopefully she gets on some sort of income-based repayment plan. We're going to watch further into the video. We have around 7 minutes. I don't know if we're going to watch all of it. Editing Cloud is probably going to shorten this so it's a little bit more enjoyable to watch. I know some of you guys want me to lengthen the video, so I'm choosing longer videos, I guess, for you to watch and listen to. And, you know, I know some of you guys are, you know, walking to work or doing dishes, doing laundry, whatever, while listening. So hello, hopefully you carry on. But let's see what's going on here.
And I wanted to just have a nice summer because I have been doing school for the last 5 years, and I've been taking summer courses full-time every year, and as well as working full-time. So this is also like the debt I have, and I was working full-time during the summers, and I was working part-time during the school years. So that's all, like, I still had no money, like, and I had to take out loans. So, being 23 years old, almost 24 when I graduated, I decided that I was just going to get a part-time job, so that way I could only work part-time during the summer and kind of enjoy the summer, because I had been doing over full-time in schools and working and had a role in my sorority, and I decided that I was just going to work part-time. And if I had looked at my loans fresh out of college, which I highly recommend you do if you have loans, do not wait until they are due to start looking at them. I decided to do that and made barely any money, but I didn't have any loan payments at the time during the summer. And I wish that I had started making the payments as soon as possible on those loans while I had them. So I worked part-time. Around November, my best friend was like, hey, I have loans. You have loans. Have you looked at what your loan payments are going to be? And I was like, shh, can't be that bad, right? Wrong. I looked at my loan payments and I cried.
If you just cried, you are a strong person. I would be bawling. You know when, like, you know, the teenage boys are punching holes through the drywall? I would be doing theatrics. Where are your parents helping you? They're helping you now. At least they're helping you in some way, shape, or form. It said you were living at home. But where are your parents when you're signing your life away, essentially, at this point? And I don't think she even discussed what her college degree is. I'm going to try to search for her college degree, or maybe we'll hear what it is, but Editing Cloud, please put that in. Hopefully it's something good where she can make good money and pay it off in less than 10 years. Holy moly. But good on her friend for reminding her, you know, little nudge. Hey girl, I think we have loans. We should probably look at those. Do not be avoidant.
Because I was not taught financial literacy. And I didn't understand how a credit company for student loans could charge me $1,800 if I wasn't making that much. I thought, okay, there must be something similar to the federal aid where you can do it based on income. No, they don't offer that. So I would also look into that before you take out student loans, if they're going to offer income based or anything. They don't offer that. The best I could do was bring it down to $1,000. And then I was struggling to find a full-time job. I applied for like 3 months to over probably 500 jobs before I finally found one. This is the catch, that doesn't even require my degree. I found a job that paid $20 an hour, 40 hours a week, and it was degree recommended, not required. So I felt very grateful for that opportunity. I just don't understand why companies and jobs want you to have stepping stones, but don't consider your degree to be the stepping stones or the foundation for working for those companies. And they want to pay less money for more years of experience. It doesn't make sense. It's really hard to find a job right now, like really, really hard. Anyway,
to be fair to her, having that degree probably did put her above the other applicants to get that full-time job. But imagine paying $188,000, and I'm just gonna she has to pay that anyway. We're just gonna say that's like the student loans. Sure, she can discharge in bankruptcy the like credit and her car, although I don't think she gets to keep her car in bankruptcy. I think there's a way you can keep your assets, but again, I'm not a bankruptcy lawyer. I have never filed bankruptcy, and I hope to God I never have to do that. What is that? Full-time job. Let me calculate that here with the calculator, because I'm not very good with that in my head. So 20 times 2080, which is the full-time hours, so 40 hours for the 52 weeks. So 2080 times 20, that is $41,600. So not even, just barely $42,000 she is making out of college, which is only 20%, 22% of all of her loans. Like, guys, please, no more than what your projected salary is. So if you're going to make 42,000 out of college, do not take more than 42,000 in loans at an absolute maximum for your loans. If you can't do that, find grants, find something, scholarships, jobs on jobs, so that you don't get into this situation. Okay? Your future self will thank you.
Flash forward, I'm doing this and I'm able to make my bare minimum payments, but that doesn't matter because in 12 months, I'm still going to owe $1,800 bare minimum on the Sallie Mae loans, and I cannot afford that. And I make $41,600 a year before taxes. Now, flash forward, I'm at this job for a couple months and I start to struggle really badly with my mental health. I'm talking like can't get out of bed except to go to work, really struggling, losing passion for everything, falling into a mix of, I would say, seasonal depression because it's winter and I struggle with that a lot, and also depression because my life is not going the way that I want it to go. And that is a hard thing to grasp. And also debt is really hard. It's a hard thing, and like a lot of people struggle with it. So it's not just me coming on here. Like I'm very grateful and I am privileged, and there's a lot of things that are going well in my life, but like that debt is still looming over my head, and that is a real thing. I decided that this job was not worth staying at any longer because of how much it was impacting my mental health. I was crashing out all the time and I really tried to stick it out, but I was just really starting to see no purpose in my life, even though it was helping me make those bare minimum payments.
If you're in this sort of situation, my heart goes out to you. It is really difficult. I had to quit my job too. That's why I'm on the YouTube now. I'm able to do this because I'm way more financially flexible. Find something that you can do maybe on the side. We saw those nurses who had side jobs. It's going to be very tough when you're in a horrible mental state, but you have to fight through it. It's really, really difficult. Talk to someone, go outside. I know that's like the most basic, terrible advice. I don't know what else to say, but I really hope it gets better for you.
I have since put in my 2 weeks and I'm going back to 2 part-time jobs that I've calculated out will make the same amount of money I make at this full-time job that I supposedly got with my degree. So I'm still going to make $41,600 and be able to make my bare minimum payments. But I am really worried about what I'm going to do in 11 months when I have to owe $1,800 just on Sallie Mae. I am putting this out there as like kind of a way to warn people about looking into what your loans look like. Teach yourself financial literacy. But I'm also putting this out there to ask, what's the best case scenario? I don't really know what to do, and I've been trying to do research. I don't want to get sued by Sallie Mae. It's hard to find a job. I don't really want people coming on here being like, well, just go find a higher paying job. You were silly to drop down to 2 part-time jobs. That is not the advice I'm looking for. I'm looking for a best way to knock out my loans and start paying them off faster with what I have. I'm making the bare minimum payments and a little bit more, and that's basically all of my income, and I'm looking for other ways to make extra money. So if I have to start DoorDashing as well, I'm going to go back to a job where I'll also be making tips. All of that's going to go towards it. What is the best way? Should I attack the ones that are high interest first? Should I go after the ones that are the smallest? Like, I'm genuinely curious, best way to knock out these loans, because I'm trying to be debt free.
And my, not financial advice, but this is what I would do personally if I was in this situation, is do whatever mentally helps you the most, right? And that's why Dave Ramsey, whether you love him or hate him, his advice isn't necessarily the most efficient way to pay off your debt, but it is probably the most mentally well way to do it, right? Build up your $1,000 emergency fund and do the debt snowball method, which is just paying off your smallest loans first. Now, if you wanted to do it more efficiently, you would target the student loans with the highest interest rate, because that's going to bite you in the ASS the hardest in the future, right? And the worst part of this whole thing is not even her current debt. It's what she is she's just paying off interest, right? You pay the bare minimum payment, you're really just paying off the interest at this point, not the actual principal of your loan. So some people don't even actually make a dent, truly do not make a dent in their loan. Some people are like, yeah, I was paying for 10 years and it actually doubled in balance. So please do not do that. And she goes on to say that she has a trip planned. The people in the comments are saying, girl, cancel that damn trip. Respectfully, do you really want to be helped? Put that money towards your debt. Stop using not having financial literacy as an excuse. And then she says, respectfully, stop judging my life after one 10-minute long video. And to be honest, when you do put yourself online, people are going to judge you, especially when you did put out a 10-minute long video I know more about her financial life than I do about any of my friends, if I'm honest. And when you put it online, the people of the internet aren't the nicest sometimes, except for you guys. Obviously, you guys are super sweet most of the time. Girl, when you open yourself up to scrutiny. And then again, people are saying only bachelor, sorority, trip, not taught financial literacy. Girl, and it's like taking the accountability piece and then making it right. I will say she does need to do something for her mental health. The trip that she's going to take, I would say probably it would be best to cancel it unless it's non-refundable, right? If you paid the money, you do genuinely need to go do that. But find something else that you can do to relieve stress that doesn't cost a lot. But what do you think? What did you think about these insane debt stories? Like, it is incredibly tough out there having massive debt. Some people are able to pay off large sums of money incredibly quickly in less than 2 years. Some people just got started on their debt journey and they don't know what they're going to do. But subscribe if you like videos like this. I will see you in the next one.